Good morning. If everyone would like to come in and have a seat, we're going to get started in about 5 minutes. We'll start right at 11. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jamie Frazier. My pronouns are she and her, and I am the volunteer host for today. I am glad we can gather together today in the spirit of shared values and community. Whether you're a longtime member or a first-time visitor, here in person or joining via our live stream, we're glad you're here. So that our time together is not interrupted, please take a moment to silence your devices or put them on Do Not Disturb mode. I appreciate each of you and your consideration and respect for one another. Let's get started. Ethical Society Board President Scott Wright has a special message to share with us today. Please welcome Scott.
Good morning. My name is Scott Wright, and my pronouns are he and him. Current events have been hard and continue to be hard on our members. The Board of Trustees shares the grave concerns of many of our members at the events unfolding in our world. In the recent past, I've mentioned briefly from this stage how it can be difficult to adopt official positions on behalf of our membership, but it is not impossible. I'm here this morning to speak briefly in my capacity as president on our policies for taking official positions on public events, and then I will share a position that the board is currently pursuing. Article 2.7 of our bylaws states, "The board may adopt by unanimous vote a position on any public issue presented to it except for the endorsement of candidates for political or public office. Any such action shall be known as the action of the board on behalf of the society." Article 4.4.3 of our policy manual specifies in more detail our process for adopting an official position or statement on public issues. This process involves establishing intent in a board meeting to approve a position, then publishing that intent, providing a period of not less than 2 weeks for members to express any concerns they have with the published intent, then final approval of the stated position at a second board meeting, subject to unanimous vote of the board. As a response to events unfolding in our world, and in collaboration with a diversity of members who have voiced their concerns to us, the board has discussed and established an intent to adopt the following position. The Ethical Society of St. Louis stands against assaults on the dignity and worth of all transgender Americans. We affirm the right of all humans to live in alignment with their true selves, and we stand with our members, friends, and relatives who are trans and non-binary. We believe that everyone deserves to be treated fairly and kindly. Within our own congregation, we reaffirm our commitment to honoring all members and visitors' chosen names and pronouns, respecting their right to use whichever bathroom they feel most comfortable using, and providing further education for our community on gender diversity. We also call on our elected officials, from our local school boards to our federal representatives, to stand up for their transgender constituents and their rights to access medical care, play sports, serve in the military, use the bathroom, travel, work, and otherwise live their lives in peace. This statement will be published in the coming week for member feedback, and there will be a motion for final approval at our next board meeting on March 11th, 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. We are excited to welcome back our musical guests, Cherry and Jerry. The Cherry and Jerry ragtime duo includes Isaac Cherry on percussion and Jerry Rabushka on piano. They focus mainly on music from the 1900s to 1920s, ragtime, early blues and jazz, and popular songs from back in the day. Their first musical selection today is a ragtime favorite, The Entertainer by Scott Joplin. Please join me in welcoming back our old friends, Cherry and Jerry. Thank you, Isaac and Jerry, for that fun and uplifting performance. Each week, we read the Ethical Education for Youth core values as a way to bring us together and remind us of our shared commitments. Today, our core values reader is Rush Williams.
Every person is important and unique. Every person deserves to be treated fairly and kindly. We can learn from everyone. We are a part of this earth. We can cherish it and all the life upon it. We can learn from the world around us by using our senses, mind, and feelings. We are members of the world community, which depends on the cooperation of all people for peace and justice. We can learn from the past to build for the future. We are free to Christians. We are free to choose who we believe. We accept responsibility for our choices and actions. We strive to live our values.
Thank you, Rush. The Youth Education Program is available to all children and provides a robust ethical education. It is now time for our Seek students to head downstairs for their programs. I hope you all have a fantastic time. It is now time for opening words, when we get to learn more about our fellow community members and their interests and passions. This is a time to deepen our connections with one another. Please join me in welcoming Paris Brown.
Good morning. My name is Paris Brown, and my pronouns are she and they. If you don't know me, I work in the youth program as the coming of age advisor. I will be talking about what we can all learn from Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance. Last weekend, we watched one of the greatest Super Bowl halftime performances ever. Kendrick Lamar displayed an incredible amount of confident pettiness delivered on the wings of an entire Caesars Superdome, screaming, A minor. But as Kendrick said, 40 acres and a mule, this is bigger than the music. For reference, that was one of the promises made to Black Americans after the Civil War by the government, and it was a lie. Kendrick doubled down that he's the biggest hater, but not just of Drake, of the government and the people silently watching as we spiral back in time. And he looked Donald Trump in the face while he did it. What did I learn from the Super Bowl? Sometimes it is okay to be a hater. It's okay to be a hater. Oop. I'm out of line. Sorry. Well, I'm actually missing a page. That's not fun. In fact, I think there are instances where it is necessary to be a hater, our duty to be a hater. If Kendrick can run a double smear campaign in the middle of one of the most watched sporting events of the year, what's stopping you? We usually find being a loud hater acceptable towards entities, the government, the president, a celebrity. But once we find the same traits in our community, we all of a sudden are a lover, not a fighter. We just all need to get along. It is tacky to be a hater in real life. And I'm here to tell you, it's not. No more, I'm not trying to be a hater, but no. It is okay to be a hater when someone is racist. It's okay to be a hater when someone is ableist. It's okay to be a hater when someone is classist. It's okay to be a hater when you know someone is harming others around them. It is okay to be completely intolerant of intolerance. At one point, Samuel L. Jackson, dressed as Uncle Sam, says, "No, no, no, too loud, too reckless, to ghetto. We are conditioned that it is impolite to loudly stand up for what's right. It's wrong to put our foot down. We must not make a scene. We must play the game. We must not cause problems. Not causing problems has created more problems. The game is one none of us can win. Being silent in the face of inexcusable behavior in the name of niceties has allowed intolerance to slip past us like an unlatched gate. Silence has cost people their lives. It's time to latch the gates up and build a fortress. It's time to do the right thing and stop these behaviors in our community, even when it's uncomfortable to do. It's time for us to allow ourselves to hate to our full potential and use it for good. To quote Kendrick, the industry can hate me, bump them all in their mama. Free Palestine, free Congo, free Sudan, defund the police, and abolish ICE. Thank you.
Paris, thank you so much for sharing with our community. As the parent of a coming-of-age student myself, I am grateful they have you as their leader. If you are a member and would like to share opening words, we will happily get you on the schedule. You can contact Carol Beer or send an email to the Platform Speakers team at platformteam@ethicalstl.org. I hope you will take advantage of the opportunity to share about yourselves. Now, let's welcome Cherry and Jerry back to the stage. They're still here. For their second selection, Stormy Weather by Harold Arlen. Thank you so much. I'm always happy when I see you on our schedule for platform. You're joining us. All right, before our main address, we like to take a moment to empty our minds, relax our bodies, and take some mindful deep breaths. Please join me for 1 minute of mindful breathing. Thank you. Our platform address today features Speaker Inez Bordeaux. Inez was born in St. Louis but lived abroad as a child of an Army veteran. She moved back to South City, St. Louis in 1999, where she married and is raising her 4 kids. Inez has been a public servant all of her adult life. First in healthcare, working as an LPN for 18 years, having started as a CNA. Then she served as manager of community collaboratives before being promoted to deputy director of community collaborations at ArchCity Defenders. There, she focused on getting the community politically educated and civically engaged around the issues directly impacting their lives and working to change the material conditions of people affected by the criminal legal system, homelessness, and other systems of oppression. Inez currently serves as the 3rd Ward Committeewoman for the Democratic Central Committee. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Inez Bordeaux.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Inez Bordeaux. I use she, her pronouns. I'm going to borrow this mic because I don't do well standing still when I'm talking. I really kind of need some pace. Okay. Thank you. Can y'all hear me okay? Fantastic. So I've got my notes over here, so I'm going to pace a little bit. But also, if you see me over here checking my phone, it's because when I'm talking about things that I'm incredibly passionate about, I tend to be a little long-winded. So I was given strict instructions that I've got about 20, maybe 30 minutes if I get really fired up. So I've got a timer going, so just bear with me, okay? All right, great. My name is Inez. I use she, her pronouns. I am currently, I'm on a leave of absence from my job at ArchCity Defenders because I am running for alderperson of the 3rd Ward in St. Louis City. Yes, thank you. But prior to my leave of absence, I'm the Deputy Director of Community Collaborations at ArchCity Defenders. ArchCity Defenders is a nonprofit civil rights law firm that fights the criminalization of being Black, of being poor, of being unhoused, of being trans. And Deputy Director of Community Collaborations is really just a fancy title for organizer. That's what I do. I'm an organizer. And so today I was asked to come and talk about advocating for justice. And it's one of my favorite things to talk about and something that we should all be making a concerted effort to get into. So when you're advocating for justice, really, or organizing, you can break it down into 3 parts. And so I'm gonna kind of go in reverse order. One, the first thing you should think about when you are advocating for justice is who are you advocating for? Who are the people that you're advocating for? Who are you organizing for? What impact are you hoping to have on that particular community? And the number one thing we learned when we learn how to be organizers and when we're advocating for people should be to center the people you are advocating for. If you are not the directly impacted person that's being impacted by, the government trying to make trans people disappear, or people who are impacted by the criminal legal system, or the unhoused community, if you are not a member of that community and you want to do advocacy work, great, I want you to do it. But the people in the front, the people who should be making all of the noise, the people who should be speaking to the media and out in front and in front doing the advocating should be that community that you're advocating for. So if you're advocating for trans rights, you need to have trans individuals leading your movement. They should be right there in the front. We don't have to speak on behalf of people. If we are advocating for someone, there are plenty of those folks who can advocate for themselves. They just need to be given the space, the opportunity, maybe a little bit of political education, maybe a little bit of media training, but you make sure that those folks have what they need so that they can advocate for themselves. Your job is to stand behind them, be their hype person, protect them, and put them in positions to be able to advocate for themselves. So that means using the privileges you have, whether it's you've got media contacts or you've got money or you know a person that knows a person that does a thing. Using your privilege to make sure that those people are in the front is rule number one around advocacy for justice or organizing or any type of social movement. The people that you're fighting for should be right in the front. The second part of advocacy that you want to focus on is how do you move people from apathy to action? Because that's what we're dealing with a lot. Especially right now, I am so tired of watching the news. I'm so tired of watching the news. I'm so tired of hearing the bad news coming out of Washington, D.C. and other places every single day. But that is the point. That is the point. They are trying to wear you down. They're trying to get you to turn off Rachel Maddow or turn off, don't watch Fox 2. But don't watch, don't watch it. But they are trying to get you to turn off your brain, to ignore it, to become apathetic. They are depending on that. So how do you move people from apathy to action? Now, that leads me to my third point, which is most of what we're going to talk about today, and that is motivation. All the kids are gone, so I might say 1 or 2 curse words. I promise it won't be flagrant. But how do we move people from apathy to action? So when you ask yourself that question, it's simply, what is your motivation? What is your motivation for getting up and doing the thing that you are doing? Is it because you have a loved one that's been directly impacted by these issues? Is it because you know someone? Is it because you're tired of watching the news and you're trying to figure out, what is it you can do? What is your motivation? Now, I think when we think about motivation and we watch Lifetime movies of the week and we watch football movies or sports movies, it's always like, the love of my community is why I'm doing this. The love of my teammates is why I'm doing this. Or we can tap into that Obama era, hope and change. You know what's more powerful a motivation than love, than hope? Anger. Anger. And Paris, I wish Paris was still here. We might be the same person. We might be the same person because I'm a Scorpio. Nothing motivates me like being petty, like being spiteful. Nothing motivates me faster than you telling me I can't do something or I shouldn't do something. Or me, I'm always gonna get my lick back every single time without fail. I don't care how long it takes. I'm gonna get my lick back. And luckily for, all of us, I choose to use my powers of petty and anger for good and not evil. You've got to use that petty for good and not evil, or good and not evil. So, how do we move people from apathy to action? You could try love. Love is great. I love love. I'm in love. I love my community. I love y'all. I love my kids. Yes, all of that. Do I have hope for the future? Absolutely, because I believe in us. I believe in our ability to do hard things. I believe in us. So yes, I have love, I have hope, but do you know what got me started in advocacy work? I've been a nurse for 18 years. I started organizing 10 years ago because I'm a directly impacted person that was wrongfully prosecuted by the state of Missouri. I lost 7 years of my life. My nursing license was suspended. I was unhoused for 3 years. I could not find a job. In the 3 years that I was unhoused, I applied for over 2,000 jobs, had over 60 job interviews, and no one would hire me because I had this thing on my background. I don't have enough time today to get into that story. But I was wrongfully prosecuted by the state of Missouri, and in 2016, the Missouri Supreme Court ruled that the statute that I was prosecuted under was unconstitutional. And so in 2017, I was able, with the help of a public defender, to get the felony that was on my record vacated. Right? But when I walked out of court that day, my life had not changed. I was still living in a crappy one-bedroom apartment on the south side with my 4 kids. I was still driving a crappy beat-up car. My life fundamentally had not changed. Yes, my record was clear. It was a blank piece of paper, as I like to say. But my life had not changed. And I was so angry. Anybody in here watch Dragon Ball Z? Heard of Dragon Ball Z? You know how, like, when they're getting ready to fight, like, their hair turns to flames? That was me all the time. All the time. That was me all the time. And I did not have anywhere to put that anger. I didn't have anywhere to put it. So through being in the workhouse, I got a call from ArchCity Defenders. I was a former client of theirs. They said, Inez, we're starting a campaign to close the workhouse. Are you interested? I said, hell yeah. And I showed up at the first meeting, and I showed up at the next meeting, and I kept showing up. I showed up so often they asked me to be part of the organizing team, which directly led to my job at ArchCity Defenders. I needed a place to put all of that anger I had. And what did I do with that anger? I led the campaign to close the workhouse. That jail has been empty for almost 3 years now. I led the DRT campaign, which is Defund, Re-Envision, Transform. It's our Defund the Police campaign in St. Louis City. That campaign, over the course of about 3.5 years, defunded $11.5 million from SLMP, the most murderous police department in the entire country, and that money was put into social service programs like the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, into the Office of Violence Prevention. Anger did that. So while I love my community and I love the city and I have such hope for us and such hope for the future, we have so much potential. It was the anger that got me out of bed every day to show up and knock on doors and talk to people about the Close the Workhouse campaign. And if you think about it, every great advancement, every movement, anything that we've gotten accomplished hasn't been because of love or hope. It's because somebody was mad as hell, and they were like, I am going to do something about it. And they went out and they made other people mad as hell. That's something that I'm really good at. I'm really good at riling people up. That's my job, to rile people up, get them politically educated and civically engaged. Because why? Angry gets shit done. Angry gets shit done, y'all. And it's renewable. It's a renewable energy source, like the sun. You can tap into it whenever you want to. Look around. Look around. You need some motivation to get out of bed, to go knock doors, to advocate. Look around. I assure you that there is an organization in the St. Louis area that's already working on your jam. My jam is abolition. I want to defund the police. I want to abolish prisons and jails and instead invest all of the money that we use for the prison industrial complex. I want to see that money invested in the things that actually create real public safety. So that's safe, affordable housing, that's affordable childcare, because that's how I got my felony. I stole unemployment benefits. I fled a domestic violence situation and I could not afford my child care. I was turned down for assistance from the state of Missouri because I made $56 too much. $56. And so I did what I had to do to survive. I stole unemployment benefits, and that $350 I got a week from the state of Missouri is how I paid my child care. Because my choices were, do this illegal thing for this reason, or go back to the man who picked up a hot skillet off of a stove and burned me all over my body with it during an argument. Raise your hand if you would have gone back. Raise your hand if you would have stole the unemployment benefits. And I got turned down because I made $56 too much. Does that make you angry? That's why I told you. Because I want you to be angry. I don't want you to feel sad for me. I don't want you to feel pity for me. I want you to be mad enough to help me go down and tear this system that oppresses so many people down. That's what I want. That's why I'm telling you this. Because I want you to be angry. Why? Because angry gets shit done. So whatever your jam is, mine is abolition, your jam might be climate change or protecting the rights of LGBTQ plus folks. Your jam might be food, dealing with food scarcity and food deserts. Your jam might be traffic safety. Whatever your jam is, you have to get angry about it because angry gets shit done. It's how we get things done. I'm just checking on my time, y'all. 14 minutes, 46 seconds. We're doing good. So after you go and you rile people up, you get angry, you get them angry. The next thing is, what are you gonna do with all of this anger? So let me ask you a question. When was the last time you harassed your elected official? Yesterday. I like it. I like it. Everybody else? No, you haven't harassed your elected official recently? 2 weeks ago? That's too long. That's too long. Your elected officials should be hearing from you routinely. Because while everything that's happening on a federal level is important, what's happening on the local level has more of an impact on your daily lives. If you live in the city, raise your hand. Who's your elected official? Uh-huh. Who's your elected official? Who's your alderperson? You don't know? So your assignment when you leave here today, actually you could do it right now. You can do it right now if you wanted to. I want you to go to the city website. It's stlouis-mo.gov. Ward 6, that's Daniela Velasquez. Yes. Yes. So if you do not know who your elected official is, what are you doing? What are you doing? Find out who your elected official is. Find out what your jam is and make it your business to make your elected official rue the day they ever decided to run for office. And I say that as someone who's running for office. You gotta get involved. What is your jam? So first, find your jam, whatever it is, right? Find your jam. Find out what organization is already doing your jam. A good place to start, if you don't know, is the People's Plan St. Louis. It's peoplesplanstl.com. It is a coalition of 50-plus organizations that all do social justice work in a collaborative way. Do we all do the same work? No. But do we all support each other's work? Yes. Go to the People's Plan St. Louis, look at all of the organizations, but then read the pillars. There's Making STL Home. So that's where what we call what I call quality of life issues are. So if reproductive justice is your jam, if tenant and renters' rights are your jam, if climate change is your jam, food scarcity, those sorts of things all live in Making STL Home. Go find your jam. If your jam is like, I am so tired of corporations getting TIFs and tax abatements, I'm tired of places like the Armory coming into town, getting $20 million in, tax incentives, and then closing down. If that is your jam, go to Funding Our Future. Go work with DSA and make WashU pay their fair share of taxes. SLU pay their fair share of taxes. Barnes Hospital pay their fair share of taxes. You can find that in the Funding Our Future pillar. If you are looking for abolition-related work, if you want to help me close down jails like the Workhouse, defund the police, and instead fund our communities, go to Re-envisioning Public Safety. I'll see you there. We meet every other Thursday. And then lastly, Funding Our Future, Making STL Home, Building Inclusive Democracy. If you want to protect the initiative petition process, which is how we got weed, it's how we got raised the minimum wage, it's how we got Amendment 3 passed to protect abortion access for folks that need it. All of those things live in that pillar. Go find your jam. Then you need a political home. So that's where you go find that organization that is already doing the work. You go and find an organization that can get you politically educated on what's happening with your jam. And not only will you get politically educated on what's happening with your jam, you will be taught how to go out and advocate for yourself. You'll do story of self training that teaches you, this is how I get up and tell my story. This is how I show up at the Board of Aldermen, or if you live in the county, listen, I don't know anything about county politics. I purposely ignore it. So listen, I can't help you. But if you want to know anything about the Real Housewives of St. Louis, AKA the Board of Aldermen and City Hall, I'm your girl. County politics, I can't help you, I'm so sorry. But I can point you to the people that can. So find your political home so you can get politically educated. And then go get in your elected official's face. They should know your name. City Hall hates to see me coming. City Hall hates to see me coming because they know when I show up, I'm showing up with 50 of my closest friends. We're bringing pots and pans, and we're going to make you hear us. When they see me coming, they're like, Inez, why are you here? You know why I'm here. You know why I'm here. I'm here to advocate for the people in my community. And I do that. I am the committeewoman of the 3rd Ward. I'm the state committeewoman of Senate District 5. And I'm a community organizer that fights for my people. So they know when they see me, they've effed up. They know they've done something wrong. And so they should be scared of you too. They should be scared of you too. They should be worried about what happens when you get 50 of your angry friends and you show up at, what is it called in the county? City council? Is that what it's called? County council? Okay, county council. I'm gonna remember that, thank you. So when you show up at county council or you show up at city hall, they should be worried. They should be worried. So, 3 things. What is your motivation? What is your why? Why are you showing up? Is it love and hope? Is it anger? Is it spite? Is it, like me, your petty Scorpio that's gonna get your lick back? 7 years ago, when my record was cleared, I made a vow. When they make a movie about my life, I'm gonna make sure this line is in the movie. They can make everything else up. But I made a vow that I was gonna spend the rest of my life working to tear down the systems that tried to destroy me. I made a vow, I made a promise to myself and God that I was gonna spend the rest of my life working to tear down these systems. Love doesn't do that. Hope doesn't do that. Spite does that. Spite does that. Petty does that. And here we are 10 years later, and I'm standing in front of you, all of you all today, telling you, tap into your inner Paris. Tap into your inner Paris. Because petty is okay. Anger is okay. I used to have a problem with it. I used to feel sad and conflicted about it. But my good friend, Michelle Higgins, who is the pastor of St. John's, the Beloved Church down in North City, told me, when your anger is righteous, when your anger is right, when you are using your anger, your spite, your petty, to fight on behalf of marginalized people, of directly impacted people, when you are fighting on the side of justice, being petty is completely okay. Being spiteful is okay. Being angry is okay if you are using it correctly. And she reminded me that even Jesus flipped over tables. Jesus flipped over tables. The night before he went to the bankers, he sat down himself and braided the whip. And he went down there to the money changers and he whipped them and he flipped over tables. And if it's good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for me. It's good enough for me. And so it should be good enough for you too. So as I'm coming up on the end of my time, because I want to be respectful of all of your time, I just want to remind you 3 things. Who are you advocating for? Make sure those people are in the front. We don't need anybody with savior complexes. You don't have to be the person in the front holding the microphone, doing the press, giving the interviews, leading the rally, leading the protest. You don't have to be that person. It should be the people that are directly impacted, right? And then 2, what is your motivation? What is your motivation for being there? Tap into it. Listen, if you want to use love and hope, go for it. I personally prefer petty and spite. It lasts longer. It burns brighter, hotter, and it's renewable. You can tap into it, like I said, just like the sun. And then 3, now that you've got your motivation, you've tapped into, you've got your directly impacted people, you've got your motivation. Well, what are you going to do? You have to move into action. And if we're talking about policy, which most times we are talking about policy, that means you have to get your elected officials involved. Now, don't go straight to pots and pans outside of their house at 3 o'clock in the morning, making their neighbors hate them. You don't have to jump right to there. You can try nicely. You could try nice first. Phone call, email, introduce yourself, find out who your elected official is. Make it your business to be in their face. So we've got our directly impacted people, we've got our motivation, and then we've got our action. And when you have all three of those things, you are unstoppable. Ask me how I know. I've done the impossible already. We closed a jail. Do you know how hard it is to close a jail? Oh, you don't think it's hard? Name somebody else who's done it. Name somebody else who's done it. You can't. Closing a jail is harder than putting a man on the moon. It's harder than putting a man on the moon, and we haven't done that in a while. We haven't done that in a while. So if you think that these 3 steps won't get anything done, it won't move, it will move. It will make you, I've been called relentless. I like it. Put it on a shirt, right? So it makes you unstoppable, because when you do those 3 things, it doesn't matter how much money your opponent has, because you have more people. And people beats money almost every time. Almost every single time. So you've got your 3 steps. Everybody has their homework assignments. Go home, find out who your elected official is, and before the end of the weekend, send them an email. Hey, my name is Inez Bordeaux. I'm one of your constituents. I live in your ward. I'm wondering if we can set up a one-on-one and a time to talk. I would like to talk to you about some of the concerns that I have in my ward. I'm free Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 12 to 5. Let me know what time works for you. And when they don't return your email, call them. And when they don't return your phone call, guess what? You show up at their office. And you say, hey, I called you, I emailed you, but I haven't heard back from you, and I'm a concerned citizen. And the next time you don't return my phone call or my email, I'm gonna bring a friend with me. That is how we move. That is how we advocate for justice. Pick your jam, and then go do those 3 things. And I'm happy to be of assistance. I'll give you my phone number, I'll give you my email, because being petty is one of my favorite things in the world. It's free, and it's easy, and it's never going out of my way. It's always directly on my route every single time. It's directly on my route every single time. It should be directly on your route every single time. And with that, I'm going to close. I'll be here until after the meeting. I'm happy to answer any questions, take any questions. If you want to talk about the Real Housewives of St. Louis, I would love to talk about the Real Housewives of St. Louis. County folks can't help you, so sorry. But if you want to give me your gossip, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. So thank you.
Thank you, Inez. I really appreciate, I hope everybody here does too, the practical advice on what we can do, because sometimes we feel powerless. All right, the welcome team will now take up a collection to support the society. We rely on the generosity of our members and friends, so please consider donating. If you don't have cash with you today, you can donate at ethicalstl.org/donate or use the QR code on the screen. We appreciate anything you may be able to offer. If you are interested in joining the Ethical Society, or you are a visitor and would like to know more about the Society, Please visit the Visitors Connect table in the Becker Room after platform today. And now we have a couple of announcements. If you have not completed the survey seeking your opinions on Sunday morning programming and speakers, you can still do it. There is an online version. Just click on the QR code you can see on the screen. Responses to this survey will help inform future programming and speakers. All right. And then we have a message from the Stewardship Task Force. A gentle reminder that the 2025 through 2026 annual pledge campaign is underway. Please submit your pledge by April 13th to coordinate with the development of the annual budget to be voted upon at the annual membership meeting in May. Should you choose to submit electronically, use the online pledge form in the members area of the website. If you have not received a pledge packet, please contact Dan Overman at dro.mdv@gmail.com. To review the status of the pledge campaign, refer to the graphic displayed on the screen above. To view the graphic online, use the QR code on the screen above or as displayed on the monitor in the Becker Room. On behalf of the Ethical Society of St. Louis and the Stewardship Task Force, thank you for your generous support of the 2025 through 26 pledge campaign. All right, and then finally, please join us today at 12:30 until 3 for our artist reception in the foyer. Meet Larry Bomarito, our artist. All right. We would love to keep you informed about future events at the Ethical Society of St. Louis. You may use this QR code to sign up for the weekly newsletter, check the Friends of the Ethical Society Facebook group, or email the relevant staff person or member. There is also a Discord server, so that is good to be aware of. This is a busy place and a vibrant place that relies on volunteers, and I hope you will get involved and connected into the community in ways that feel meaningful for you. All right, and then we're going to welcome Cherry and Jerry back to the stage for their final selection. Yes, Sir, That's My Baby by Walter Donaldson and Gus Kahn.
One, two, test, test.
That coming down the street? Who's that looking so petite? Who's that coming down to meet me here? Who's that, you know who I mean? Sweetest who you've ever seen. I can tell her miles away from here. Yes, sir, that's my baby. No, sir, I don't mean maybe. Yes, sir, that's my baby now. Yes, ma'am, we've decided. No, ma'am, we won't hide it. Yes, ma'am, you're invited now. By the way, when we reach the preacher, I will say, yes, sir, that's my baby. No, sir, I don't mean maybe. Yes, sir, that's my baby now. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing with us. And thank you all for being here today, for each other and for yourselves. I hope today's platform helped you feel more connected to one another and motivated you to get involved in the community and causes that you are passionate about. And thank you to Inez for offering to stay and talk with us afterward. Please feel free to come up with any questions and conversations that you'd like to share with her. I also welcome you to spend more time in community today. There is coffee in the Becker room downstairs. If you don't know where that is, just follow the crowd down the stairs or the elevator right outside these doors. Have a great rest of your day and a wonderful week.